Just more or less an update on the cases, you know, that you have.
In 2013, I have spoken with 3 individuals. There's only been one individual who requested a hearing that we know of.
That's not true. Mr. McDougal requested a hearing.
Clarification, Mr. McDougal was never asked for a hearing. Mr. Shabazz.
Me a meeting with her that next day. You know, that was bogus. That meeting never happened. I called the next day. The meeting never happened.
It's Ms. Gaines' fault. She ignored me for 7 months deliberately. Then the excuse that was given was, I didn't know how to respond to your letter. This is a professionally trained attorney. How do you not know how to respond to my letter? And there's only one.
Shabazz is correct. He sent a letter back in June. He had sent previous letters that, frankly, I didn't know how to answer. But this would take full responsibility. I don't know if he's here or not. Okay. Great. I take full responsibility for not getting back to you. And I apologize for that. I do have the letter.
What?
Yes.
My internal affairs case. My place has been closed since 2013.
By bringing forth your complaint to the hearing officer, it reopens the investigation. So I don't understand what you mean when you say your case needs to be reopened. It is reopened. By bringing forth a complaint, it's reopened.
She's trying to convince you that the hearing officer is conducting an investigation. Yes, he is, with a limited scope, a very limited scope. He's supposed to investigate to determine whether Internal Affairs conducted a proper investigation. That's it. His investigation is limited to whether Internal Affairs conducted a proper investigation or not. Nothing else. He's not investigating or assisting Internal Affairs in investigating Mr. McDougal's allegations. In fact, I have my hearing report from Mr. Hoffman where he states, and if you want to see it, I'll give it to you. Scope of review. He tells you what the scope of the hearing officer's review is. And he says, the protocol, she always likes to quote the protocols, and she lies and manipulates, publicly lies. And y'all do nothing about it. I catch her in lies and tell you and prove to you she lies. I got videos of her lying. And y'all do nothing about it. Exactly. Mr. Hoffman says the protocol did not call for the hearing officer to conduct an independent investigation or act as a super internal affairs unit. Exactly. First line in the scope of review in his hearing report. Would you like to see it for yourself? Please. Yes. Please.
Aaron El Shabazz from Somerset. I'd like to raise 2 issues of serious concern for the council to address. First is systemic problems with the community liaison and internal affairs hearing review process. The last time I spoke before this council, I pointed out that my first 2 requests for hearing reviews were ignored for 9 whole months, and only after publicly complaining did the liaison finally schedule a meeting for us to establish a hearing date. However, the hearing dates were repeatedly and routinely canceled, and after 16 long months of constant delay, the liaison finally confirmed the hearing date with former hearing officer, Mr. Hammond. But as usual, this hearing was also canceled. I again publicly complained, and coincidentally, Mr. Hammond resigned as the hearing officer. Council President Escobar, you graciously apologized to me and admitted there was no excuse for how long the hearing had been delayed, and I appreciate that. I also pointed out to the council that the liaison had even tried to dissuade me from moving forward with my hearing issue. So the totality of circumstances indicates that she did try and dissuade me from having the hearing, but I insisted on having it. I wouldn't agree to not having it. So ultimately, a new hearing officer was appointed, and my hearing was finally held on October 24th, 2013, which is over 2 months ago. But to add insult to injury, after going through 7 months of hell, fighting to actually get the hearing, once it was completed on October 24th, I have still not received the hearing officer's decision. I haven't been notified of any decision. I haven't received any notification of any status update. I've been kept in the dark deliberately for over the past 2 months since the hearing's been done. So what good is, I had to fight almost a year and a half to get the hearing. Then after I finally get it, now I gotta come fight
to get the decision. This is nonsense. And as far as I'm concerned, this clearly then gives the appearance of some sort of impropriety. As I stated in the beginning, I never trusted this whole process. But you would always thank me, Council President Escobar, because I followed the process, though. I cooperated with the process. And after cooperating, I still ain't getting no results. I don't know anything, and nobody will tell me. The New Brunswick Police Director will provide a status update. Nobody provided me a status update or final disposition of the complaint within 30 days. Within 30 days. To the community liaison officer, who will thereafter contact the complainant and advise of the status. Now, it's been over 60 days, and I have not been advised of any status. Haven't been contacted. I've been doing all the contacting. I've been calling her, constantly calling her office. What's going on? She always claims she doesn't know what's going on. That's the answer I give. After 2 months, how do you not know what's going on? You're the community liaison officer. How can she not know what's going on? I don't know. The hearing officer hasn't told me anything. This is ridiculous.
As I stated before, Mr. Shabazz, and I'm going to have Ms. Gaten answer before I talk to you about. But as I said before, I really appreciate it. That I know it has taken a long time, but that's the process, and you have followed the process. From what I see, whether there was some glitches here with the mail or not, but you have followed the process that I have requested. I know I said please follow the process, because after we follow the process and we see we could determine, you're the first one who have followed the whole process. So there's no way for us to gauge whether it has been, it's a process that is working or it's not working, or that somebody goes through the whole thing and see. I am concerned by some of the things that you have mentioned. That's why I'm going to ask Ms. Gaten to answer some of the questions that I have in terms of especially, if there was a protocol, if it was followed. According to the information that you provided, I have not seen it. I'm just trusting your word, the protocol that it was given to you. Obviously, there are some things that, if that was the protocol, that did not concur with what the protocol says. But I don't know what circumstances are there. But regardless, Ms. Gaten, it's been 2 months since he had his hearing. We've been waiting for this hearing for us to find, see what is the final solution, whether I'm not saying one way or another. I just want to see that the process is working, if it's working or not.
What is the question?
He went to a hearing on October 23rd. 24th, sorry, I don't have my glasses on. The 24th. He still has not received a response.
Right. Mr. Shabazz talked about a couple of things. He talked about it being sound recorded. Mr. Shabazz and I agreed. He called and he asked about whether or not he could bring a videographer. We said, yes, bring your videographer. And Mr. McDougal was there to do the video. And we also had a court reporter. With the videographer and the court reporter, there was no need to have it sound recorded. In fact, the hearing officer asked Mr. Shabazz to provide us with a copy of the video. Mr. Cradible was also there. In what capacity, I'm not sure, but he was also there. I'm sorry? So we, as far as being sound recorded, there was no need to have it sound recorded when we had all those things in place. The hearing was October 24th. I have not received the hearing officer's final report. We have discussed it. There are some things that he asked me for. There are some things that I need clarification from the police regarding some things that Mr. Shabazz testified about. And these things take time. I would think that we would be allowed an opportunity to take our time to make sure we have a thorough investigation rather than giving a report of things that are inconclusive. And that's what we're doing.
And I agree with you in that instance, but I agree also that the person should know. Did you notify him that this is taking place?
He called me.
Because they should know. But, and I hear you, Ms. Gaten, but I'm talking about in terms of, and I know that he called you, but you know that this is something that has happened between the phone calls, and there's always a discrepancy, or I said that, no, I didn't say that, in writing. because in writing, there's no way to dispute what, you know, it's in writing, you sign for it, you know, you got that response, so there's no way of disputing that.
I don't think we have a dispute that he did call me. I don't think there's a dispute.
No, but he said that he has not received any information regarding the final.
Please, may I
decision.
interject just to give some clarity to what's being said. I called her about 3 weeks ago. She told me she didn't know. The hearing officer hadn't given her a decision. That's the only answer she gave to me. She said that she should have an answer by Friday. I called her, I believe it was Monday, 3 Mondays ago, close to around the beginning of December. So I waited till Friday. She said she would call me on Friday to let me know, but she should probably have the decision by then. Either way, she was supposed to call me. Friday came, I didn't get a call. That didn't surprise me. I've always been told I'm going to get called. Let me just finish this. This is important. So I waited till Monday and called again the next week. This time I spoke to her secretary, Melissa. Her secretary explains to me, oh, Ms. Gayden is out sick. She's been out sick conveniently since Friday, the day she was supposed to call. Okay, so she's been out sick from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, now it's Monday, and she's still not in the office, she's sick. All right, cool. She says, I said, well, she's supposed to give me a status update on Friday. She said, I'm aware of that. I'll email her and get you a status update. I call her back Wednesday. I call her office back. Speak to the secretary, Melissa, again. She tells me she's still out sick. She has a swollen throat. She's very sick. I said, okay, but you said you would email her and get a status update, so you should still have some information for her. I did email her. She told me to tell you that when she gets back in the office, she'll contact you. This is all I'm being told. And then, I don't know when she came back in the office, but I can tell you, until this day, I've never heard anything.
He's right. I didn't contact him, and I should have.
I just want to.
Oh, well, he's right. What do you mean I'm right? Why don't you do what you're supposed to do? I don't want to hear that I'm right. I want you to do the right thing. That's where we're at with this. Stop telling me I'm right and do the right thing.